The shift of the Earth's energy has begun. We are well underway. Even though we are just at the beginning, a lot of people are already sensing this. We have a ways to go because this is going to continue into 2026, and we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But you might be feeling some of these things. You might be feeling like time is very difficult to manage. Like sometimes it feels like time is standing still. Other times it might feel like time is just flying by. And like you can't keep track of what was yesterday, what was last week, what was last month. Very symptomatic of these changes we're experiencing right now. Other things are exhaustion. Exhaustion is probably the biggest thing that I find. When we are making these big energetic shifts, it's a lot for our system to take in. It's a lot of change for your nervous system in particular, and it's a lot for your body to navigate. So we have to adjust slowly over time, but we are going to be more tired than usual. You might actually need naps when you don't usually need naps. This is something I've talked about quite a bit over the last 6 months. It's definitely going to be heightened in this next period. Other things that you might notice are feeling a little bit foggy, feeling a lot of emotion come up, maybe feeling a little off in general. And of course, if we look around us and at the world right now, the state of things, at our politics, everything feels a little off right now. That may be the hallmark of this period that we're in with the Earth's energy shifting. I have a lot of information for you today about this shift, and in particular, some really fascinating information that I channeled today from the same High Council that's been sending in a lot over these last few months. And they talked specifically about how we are predominantly divided into two groups within our global population. One group primarily draws energy from the Earth. The other group primarily draws energy from the sun. And so they're going to talk to us today about how each one of those groups is going to experience this shift in the energy, and the lineage of each group, the percentage of the population that falls into each group. And I'm going to give you a technique that you can use to balance your energy. So you're going to have to kind of sense into that and see which group you fall into. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute. I also have the Metatron frequencies to share with you from the month of May. Those are going to be related to the Earth's shift. We were just heading into that shift period when I held that channeling on the Insight Timer. The recording is here on my YouTube channel. You can watch it here. And I'm going to tell you today what those frequencies were, how you can be part of assisting in this shift of the planet by listening to those frequencies, anchoring those frequencies, and how they are related to the truncated tetrahedron. I'm Paige, energy healer and channel, and this is your June energy update. Please do take a moment to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content and share it. And I have a feeling that today a lot of questions may come up for you. Please do put those in the comments because I'd be happy to answer those. I'll do my best. Before we get into this month's information, I would like to just briefly recap some of what I've talked about in the last couple of updates about this shift of the Earth's energy. What's really, really important to remember, it is directly linked to Saturn and the movement of Saturn into Aries. So that happened at the very end of May, and that is when this shift in the Earth's energy began. That was around May 26th. We are going to be in this shift until Saturn has completed its movement off of the 3rd degree of Aries, which means we are going to be in this shift until roughly March 20th of next year of 2026. So we have a long ways to go with this. What's actually happening during this process is the energy of the Earth is shifting in frequency. It's moving to a higher frequency. So it's expanding. So we are literally going to feel as if the foundation that we stand on is changing. One thing that I mentioned before that I think is really important, and I'd like for everyone to reflect on this and keep this in mind. Those people who have already reached a higher frequency state are going to have an easier time with this in general. Those people who have been reticent to change, who are holding on to old patterns, who are in particular holding on to low frequency energy like anger, a lot of fear. Even grief can fall into this category because it's very heavy, it weighs you down. Certainly anyone who is focused on power and dominance over others, those kinds of energetic patterns are very low frequency, and low frequency energy is going to be affected in a big way. And what that means is that people who carry those patterns are going to feel as if the rug has been pulled out from under them. I've tried to explain this to people in different ways, and I know that sometimes this is hard to conceptualize, especially if you aren't used to thinking in terms of energy and frequency. But what that does is it destabilizes the person to a degree. Just imagine that you kind of feel stable in your surroundings because you're familiar with your surroundings. You know your surroundings. You know what to expect. You know where the things that you need are, right? Let's say you're in your home and you know where everything is. That creates a sense of stability. This is a metaphor we could use for this kind of shift. You could think of it as if all of those things were suddenly moved, and you reach for something and it's not there, or you thought it was over there and now you don't know where it is, you can't find it. It's disorienting, and that disorientation is destabilizing. And what that means when we're talking about emotion is that those emotions can come up in a big way, and they could be triggered quite easily. And the people who are carrying those heavy, difficult emotions might lash out. It might be quite unpredictable, and they are going to be trying to get back to that comfort zone, that place of stability, and they are not going to be able to because of the shift. So this is, I'm going to keep talking about this probably because I think it's really important for all of us to remember. In addition to that, we have been told over and over by Metatron and other guides that it is so important for us right now to remember our humanness, to connect to others, particularly others that we may not see eye to eye with, we may feel a complete disconnect from. It's really important right now for us to maintain our sense of humanity above all else, because if we don't, with these changes and with the way some people have moved very quickly to higher states, whereas others are still holding on to these lower frequencies, we can begin to separate out. And if we separate out, it weakens the field of humanity. It weakens the stability of the species. It weakens the stability of our ability to shift. So again, I hope that that makes sense. It is a little out there, but it does actually, I think, make a lot of logical sense when you really think about it. If you think about frequency, it's all about frequency. So let's start with a message that came in from the High Council. Now, this is the same High Council that have been coming in for the last few months. If you've been watching these videos, you've heard me mention them. You've heard the other messages that they've been bringing in. They represent multiverses, 43 multiverses to be exact. The galactic center beings that I've talked about extensively as well in relation to the human reformulation also sit on that High Council. So let's go ahead and get into the message that the High Council has for us today. You are feeling the changes in your planet's frequency, for it is already beginning to shift. Your human body must also adapt to the new vibrations, for it is fed by these same energies. Changes in the frequency of the planet will spark reactions in your human energy system. For some, this will feel as if you are riding an immense wave. For others, it may feel as if the sun has cast down a shadow and you are lacking the strength you are accustomed to feeling. These differences reflect the states of energetic connection to these two forces that sustain you as a species. Some are more connected to the earth, while others draw more energy from the sun. You are programmed to pull primarily from one of these sources, and which one depends entirely on your genetic makeup. Those who were introduced to this planet within the last 50,000 years will sustain more easily from the sun. So that came in, and of course, I had a lot of questions. It brought up a lot of questions for me. So I'm going to explain, I'm going to put out there some of what I asked and the answers that I got. So first of all, I asked why 50,000 years ago. And they said, at this time, a new species was introduced to your planet. This species is primarily fed by the sun's light and responds quite differently to light and dark. And that doesn't mean metaphoric, light and dark. This is literal. There is light, there is no light. They are descendants of a line of beings who derive from multiple points of origin, the most recent and most notable being a planetary system within your universe. They came in search of a new home. Roughly 60% of your population carry this DNA. And when they say carry this DNA, they mean have a predominance of this DNA having at least 70% of their DNA deriving from that species. This was the last galactic colony to breed into the human population. So I thought that this was all absolutely fascinating. This brought up more questions for me because I am aware from information I've received in the past that there are indigenous humans, those who were sort of indigenous to this planet, and then there have been lots and lots of different colonies of galactic beings coming from all over the universe, all over the multiverse, in multiple multiverses, over many thousands of years. So we have got lots of different influences. Colonies have come and gone. What they're saying is that the indigenous humans are part of the group who are connected to the Earth. Roughly 30% of the world's population carry 70% of the indigenous human DNA. So roughly 30% of the world's population represent indigenous humans. And then that leaves, of course, a 10% group because there are 60% who were influenced by this last group to come and breed in, and then 30% who were representing the original group here. So the other 10%, they've said are a mix of a lot of different things, kind of a balanced mix of a lot of different genetic lineages. Okay, so what does this mean for each group in terms of how they're going to be affected by the Earth's shift? Here's what they said. Those who are more connected to the Earth will experience subtle changes on a daily basis, potentially making the transition easier. Those who are more connected to the sun will move in leaps and will feel detached from the ground as if they are floating, and must recenter into the energies of the environment that surrounds them. So not into the energy of the Earth, but into the energies around them. So I asked how this can be done, and I'm going to walk you through how to do it for each group. So you may be wondering if you are someone who connects more to the sun or who is more connected to the Earth, and you may already have a very strong sense of that. If you intuitively feel one or the other, then absolutely go with that. You might also just feel into it and see which one feels better to you. So my recommendation is to try both of these exercises and see which one feels more stabilizing to you. And if you still can't determine, then just do both because they're both going to be short. It won't take a whole lot of time, so there's no harm in doing both. If you're someone who connects to the sun, what you want to do is imagine that you're extending your energy out to the sides. So you can just kind of stand in a balanced pose, relaxed, and imagine that you're sending, that your energy field is expanding out to the sides and reaching out around you. When I pull up this sensation and get the information from the guides about how to do this, what I see and feel is as if you are weaving yourself into horizontal waves of frequency. So you could think about it that way. It's as, and you might feel this, it's as if you are connecting into those horizontal waves, and that is stabilizing for your system. For those who connect to the Earth, what they shared is that we have sensors on the bottoms of our feet, on the soles of the feet, right along the ball of the foot. Those of you who are more connected to the Earth need to focus on those sensors. You bring your awareness to the bottoms of your feet, to the soles of the feet, and specifically to the ball of the foot, that padded area between the toes and the arch. Again, taking a nice, comfortable, relaxed stance. And you might want to close your eyes as you do this and feeling into the energy there, really focusing your awareness there, sensing into the energy of the planet from there and allowing calibration of your energy. And you can just set that as the intention. I allow my energy to recalibrate with the energy of the planet. And one thing that they said last month is that it is so important for us as a species to move in sync with the energy of the planet. They said that other species have gone through similar rapid evolutionary changes and have had difficulty when they were not able to move in sync with the shifting energies of the planet they were on. Okay, now I've already given you a lot to think about, but now I'm going to take you into the Metatron frequencies from May, and these are from the channeling that I did on the Insight Timer. Those are free channelings. Anyone can join them. I have another one coming up in July. You'll find the link in the description below, and you'll find the recordings of past channelings, including the one from May, with all of the frequency information listed there. So the topic for May was facilitating the Earth's expansion, and I held this channeling on May 17th. It was just before Saturn moved into Aries, so it was just before we started into that massive shift of the Earth's energy. We had 3 frequencies, which we always do. What's notable is that the first one has shown up 4 times in the last 5 channelings. So it's a really important frequency in terms of restructuring. And it is 3333, and these are all in gigahertz. And the 3s in this way express a higher geometrical order taking form. So what's interesting in this sequence is that often is the final frequency to come in. So we have these other shifts and changes through the first frequencies, and then it solidifies with that one, and that is the solidification of a change, moving to a higher expression. So this time, we're starting with that as our foundation. And then the next frequency is 5555. We also had that one in the March channeling. 5555 represents a pathway free of obstruction where energy can move. It sort of self-propels along a pathway. The third frequency in May was the formation of a truncated tetrahedron, and that frequency is 6889. So all of this was new to me, including the truncated tetrahedron. And what that is, and we've got an image for you here, is it's a form that has 4 regular hexagonal faces, 4 equilateral triangle faces, 12 vertices, and 18 edges of 2 types. So what does this all mean, right? The theme for that meditation was multiple descending spirals of magnetic nature perforating the Earth's atmosphere and entering the planet in order to facilitate the Earth's energetic expansion. Participants holding this pattern create an energetic pathway of resonance for this process to take place, like a blueprint. So everyone who listens to that channeling receives the frequency. You then become an anchor for those frequencies, which means that you are holding the blueprint for this to occur. So that's it. That's what I have for you this month. I would say it's time to fasten your seatbelts because we are in for a ride. One thing that you can do that's really helpful is to stay aligned to your higher expression, because really going through this shift, we all want to be embodying our highest expression as much as possible, because we're laying the groundwork for where we're going next. Aligning with your higher expression pulls you into alignment with your soul's essence. It pulls you into alignment with your life purpose. It pulls people and experiences to you that align with what you came to do, with what you came to learn, how you wanted to evolve, all of those things. And it's going to put you into your higher frequency state. So the way to do that, it's a really easy thing, is to just put silently out there. You can say, I ask to be connected to my higher self. I ask to be in my highest expression. Or you could say, I call in my highest expression. Either way, it's going to bring you into that alignment. And if you do it on a regular basis, you should really start to feel a shift. So if you do that every day, you're going to be putting yourself in a really good place as we go through this shift, and it will also help stabilize you. Lots of information today. Please do put your comments below and your questions. Be happy to answer them. And I wish you the best, and I'll see you next month.